Rose Hill. I'm living back in my childhood home, and when you tell people that I live in Rose Hill, there is a negative connotation to our community, not just our neighborhood. And so I think that we carry that stigma in our minds that if I want to come up, if I want to be somebody or go somewhere, that we have to do something that's different from where we came from.
I was flipping the remote the other day looking for an old G.E. Patterson episode. I came across the Preachers of L.A. So I wanted to just get your perspective.
Preachers of LA, that's our own fault. That's our own fault. We have sensationalized, especially the black preacher. If you look at any movie of any generation, the black preacher has always been shiesty. The black preacher has always been a buffoon. And we have labeled the black preacher as such. And even though they do have one white brother on the show, he seems to be the only one that's really doing real ministry. And so I watch the show so that I can have an intelligent conversation about it. I don't like it. No, honestly, I don't like it. Even if my wife's back there, it irks my nerves, I itch. It bothers me because it's our own doing, and we perpetuate the negative stereotypes. And it kind of goes back to you only get what you expect. And so as we are choosing pastors to follow or making superstars out of certain types of preachers, that we lose the real spiritual component of the preacher and what the preacher is supposed to do. We're making preachers celebrities, and we're supposed to be world changers.
Exactly.
See, the Bible says Jesus made himself no reputation.
Right.
Even though he thought it was robbery to be equal with God. You don't think it was taking the name of God to be equal with God. I mean, my father was one, but he kept his reputation low. He said, don't tell him I did this. See that you tell no man what you did wrong.
Right.
The Bible said one man went out and blazed it. Yeah. But he made himself a low reputation. He said, I didn't come to be ministered to. I came to minister.
Right.
I didn't come for you to serve me. I came that I could serve. Yeah. My thing with that whole Preachers of LA, Bishop Day says a hot mess. And it really is. But it's still indicative of what goes on in a lot of these, they're making celebrities out of these individuals. Now, here's my thing. How do we change the culture, change so our black women can have a decent black man? Yeah. How do we rescue some of, and I said some of, because we're not going to rescue all of the black men. It simply starts with catching them in a generational stage when they are teachable. Yeah. And it's going to be a generational. You're not going to pull a hardcore, they're going to be strong, but you're not going to pull a hardcore in and convert it in 6 months, 8 months, 18 months. It's not going to happen. And so what you have to do is, when I do the young boys, we have several young children, girls and boys, their parents do not attend church. And they don't attend the church here, but we bust their children here.
Amen.
And so they are getting one thing at home, they get another standard here. School is telling them something. And what happens is, when you remove discipline, if you remove the rod, you can't spank them, then you got to have some type of discipline. You got to, it has to be some kind of punishment. And, but those young, especially young men, I take them under my wing, and when they do something wrong, I pull them in there. I say, that's not acceptable. Now, you can only change your world. And I teach this to the ministers, teach this to our people. Your world, that's the surroundings that you affect. When Jesus said go out into all the world, he wasn't talking about everybody go to Europe and go to India. He's talking about your world. Right. That's what he's talking about. Where you affect. You want to tell me to get on a plane or a boat and go somewhere? No, it starts right here. So you affect the world. So that's what I do. But generation, you get back to the fact that man is the foundation and he's full of seed. The gene, or what we call generation, is generational. It's the same thing. It's the gene. To change the gene, to change the environment, to change the mindset, it is a process where that not only do they have to see it, they will have to experience it, and not just once. And it has to be a repetitive thing. If you can repeat a thing long enough, that's how you teach. You teach through repetition. You don't teach me just saying it one time, it's repetition. And so our kids today, that's going to be the way we change the outcome. Like I said again, those that's in, I think what Brother Rodney works, at the LCI, Los Angeles, freedom. I mean, they have all kinds of talents, artists, and accountants, and they great, but they locked up. And the submitting thing, I think you said something about it. That's so true. Jesus, well, the word says in Corinthians, Paul writes, men love your lives, but he said, women, submit yourself. And I will just take this couple of minutes right quick, because submission is not yielding your person or anything like that. Submission simply means that man has a mission, and you're supposed to get under his mission, submit, get under that mission. Then Paul, before he finishes, he said, "Yea, I say, submit yourself one to another." And if you submit yourself to, if you have a husband, submit yourself to the husband. Get under his mission, because Paul, when they put on the planet, the Bible says that. You're helping. And that's the thing. If we're not helping the man in his mission, then in that ego, in that psyche of that man, it's killing him. But he said, baby, you can do it. Baby, we can do it. I know it didn't work out this time, but I think you just keep on, baby. It's going to be all right. You just need to tell him, baby, it's going to be all right sometimes. But I just think that's a part of it. But now men, when he said love your wives, that's a greater responsibility. It's harder to love somebody when they're in their winter time, and you didn't know summer. I'm serious, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta love us. You gotta love us. And the house is protected. Now, I'm going to say this another truth. Think about this one. Who did Jesus lead? All of that he built through his cross, his suffering. Who did he lead that to? The Bible says he left it in something he called the church. And he said he gave his life for her. Somebody said her. Because you got to understand, women, Catholic convent preached this when she came. Women know your worth. Yeah. The church is found as a woman, as a female. And he left. He said, I died for her. Right. And so what Joel said in his prophecy, he prophesied about the woman. He said, now, your old men going to dream dreams. Your young men going to have visions. But your daughters will prophesy. Right. Go back and read it. They always said that. Women are prophets. They're prophesying. They always prophesy. Y'all know why y'all always prophesy. Because y'all always bringing up what was said. Y'all gonna bring it. Oh, baby, y'all, you said that. They prophesy a long time, God. Come on, I want to do that.
One last question, because we do have to. Go ahead, what over there? One of the things that bothers me, and the Bush telephone works for everything but the fact that we are 25% or less of welfare in this country. But every time it's portrayed, it's always with the black people. And we are third in population now. The Spanish has a larger population than we do. And besides this, on both sides of my family, I can say that we haven't had, and my mother and my father, that we haven't had to deal with welfare. Because even though some of them were not educated. They understood this. As long as you depended on somebody else, you cannot really get ahead or grow ahead. So go out there and do the best that you can do with what you have and make it. That was something that both sides of my family are very, very different. I don't mean anything, but my great-grandmother was an HNIC in Louisiana, Tennessee. And she died in 1970. So from 1970 until now, nobody really knows her. But everybody knew Rachel Denton when I was growing up because of who she was. You know, she had the brick two-story house that was built for her. She had the first telephone in the county. The circuit library used her house for the library, etc. But other side of the family came from Hernando, Tennessee, Hernando, Mississippi. They only went to the 4th grade. They didn't get to the 8th grade until in the 40s, and they didn't get a high school until 1954, when they were afraid that they were going to have to immigrate. But nobody has taken the time, I'm talking about the British telephone, to get this kind of fact out and among us. I don't know what the problem is, because I try to tell people around me, you make it, you know. But, go ahead.
I didn't want to cut you off, but what you were saying is very important. Of course, you know, a lot of it is like I say, that nobody wants you to really know the real percentage of who's on welfare. That's right. They don't want you to know the real percentage of who's the wealthy. You know, what they want you to believe is that they want us fighting among each other. And this is what we do. See, whatever they say, that's what they say. But you know, I saw it on a show the other day where, you know, like the stigma about black men and their children, where they showed that 60% of the children in America, you know, they have contact, or they have been raised by their father. 40-some% of Anglo are raised by their fathers, and 30-some% Hispanic. We're at the top of the list of people of our complexion that's helping to raise our kids. But if you listen to the news, it's all bad about us. We have to understand that the news sells. If it's not bad news, nobody wants to listen to it. You see, we have to educate, you know, each other. That don't listen to the naysayers. Just look around you. Now, if I can say this just shortly, I know we have to go, is that, you know, I have 17 years on the school board here in Texarkana, Texas, at the Liberty Island School District. I travel a lot, and I'm associated with national school districts, statewide school districts, and all. Everybody's experiencing a lot of the same issues. The numbers do not reflect what America is telling everybody here on the television. Now, to get to where we need to be, our churches, our parents, we've got to send quality kids to schools and teachers to be able to teach. We won't need all of the discipline that we can't do right now, but if we send them there, teachable kids. And then once you get them to school, get on these committees. Get in the PTA just like our parents did.
Exactly.
In my school district, we have to beg people, and that's all around anywhere. We have to beg people of color to go to school board meetings. We have to beg people of color to join the PTA. We have to beg people of color to join the Athletic Booster Club, and when we're 85% of athletes. You see what I'm saying? But then we're going to charge America with mistreating our kids. You see, if we're talking about our black men are not getting a fair shake, do you know that you know, and I'll talk about this too. I'm from Arkansas, okay, originally. My brother worked in the school system, he still works in the school system. My brother almost lost his job once because he was trying to help some black kids make it in life. They were athletes, real good athletes, promising, you know, to Division I schools and destined to go to the pros. And when, as an assistant principal, he started, let me see your records, let me see your grades. The grades were not there. And he said, hey, listen, you can't even get through the clearinghouse with these grades. Don't go to this camp during the summer, stay here to summer school. Let's get these grades in order so that you can go to a Division I school. The head athletic director got word that this is what he was telling his star players and told the superintendent. And he told them to leave these kids alone. And he talked, and the parent neglected to understand what my brother was trying to say to her, sent them on to the combine.
Yeah. Excellent, outstanding student. Every major college in the city, I'll tell you, wanted them. But guess what? They couldn't go. We have to understand as parents, we have to understand that when, you know, because we see this kid out there that's running that ball, you know, and making all these names in high school, we need to be concerned about what's going to happen to them after this. Those same kids today, they're back here in town working menial jobs, and they should be in the pros right now. So what I'm saying is to you is this: if I get nothing else out to you, is that wherever you are, talk to parents and to go to the schools, get involved in the children's, you know, welfare. Get on those district leadership teams. Get on these you know, where they have the books that's coming into school. We had a consortium here about 2 weeks ago of black ministers and all of the school districts here in this community. You have white superintendents that were there. We had, parents, but let me tell you, it's going to take all of us working together, because the reason that they are working together with us now is because our grades are causing them to be delinquent. See, so now everybody needs to get on board, and that's a good thing. We've been trying to get that to happen. But we need you all to get with parents and say, you get involved and make sure that your child is doing what they need to do and not coming up there because Bobo didn't get in the game on the last Friday night. Then you go on the stage and protest and want to try to vote. And that's it. But anyway, I'm through. That's it.
It is a quarter to, you guys. I'm sorry to end this.